Today we're talking about one of the most painful yet transformational experiences in trading, blown up an account. And we're not just going to dissect the failure. This is a step-by-step guide to coming back stronger, smarter, and way more resilient than you were before. Let's get right into it.
So, it happened. That sinking feeling in your stomach, the screen flashing an impossible number, and the account balance is just gone. It feels like a physical punch to the gut. Whether you've just been through this or you live in fear of it happening, this is your lifeline. Here's how we're going to tackle this together.
All right, here's our game plan. First, we'll look at the anatomy of a blow-up, why it really happens. Then we'll shift from that pain to a real purpose, making a crucial mindset shift. After that, we'll lay out a concrete 3-step recovery roadmap. Next, we'll build your new unbreakable rules of engagement. And finally, we'll completely reframe your approach to trading for the long game.
Okay, first things first, we have to perform an autopsy on the disaster. A blown account is almost never just one bad trade or some freak market event. No, it's the final, predictable conclusion to a series of really destructive habits. And you know what? Facing that truth is the only way you're ever going to break the cycle.
And let's be totally clear here, this isn't just about a number on a screen. This is a deep, emotional, and even a physical thing. Your heart races, your stomach drops. It feels personal, right? It doesn't just crush your confidence in your strategy, it makes you doubt yourself. Recognizing how deep that pain goes is so important because that's the raw energy we're going to use to fuel a permanent change.
So who are the usual suspects? Well, meet the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse for your account. First up, over-leveraging. You're using way too much size for your account, turning a tiny market move into a catastrophe. Second, revenge trading, that impulsive emotional jump right back into the market after a loss, just desperate to make it all back. Third, no stop loss. Either you don't set one or even worse, you drag it down as the trade goes against you, turning a small cut into a fatal wound. And finally, poor risk control, basically having no hard rules for how much you're allowed to lose. These 4, especially together, they're a guaranteed recipe for disaster.
Just look at the difference here. It's like 2 different universes. On the left, you've got the reckless trade. Picture Bitcoin screaming to new all-time highs. The reckless trader gets that intense FOMO, goes all in with crazy leverage right at the top, and of course, no stop loss. That's not a trade, that's a prayer. Now on the right, disciplined. Imagine gold hits a major resistance level. The disciplined trader doesn't guess, they wait for confirmation. Enter a short with a pre-planned stop loss just above the high, risking only 1% of their capital. They have a clear target. One is pure gambling, the other is running a business.
This brings us to a really critical turning point, because right here at rock bottom, you have a choice. You can walk away forever, or you can use this incredible pain as the fuel for the single most important transformation of your entire trading career. It is time for a serious attitude check.
You know that cycle of blowing up, refunding your account, and blowing up again? It will only stop when you make a conscious decision to stop it. You have to stop treating the market like a casino, like a video game where you can just hit the reset button. You have to start treating it like a profession. Think of a pilot with a pre-flight checklist or a surgeon with a strict protocol. It demands rules. It demands discipline. This loss, this is your wake-up call.
And this leads to a super important professional skill. We'll call it trader's amnesia. Now, this doesn't mean being careless. It means building the mental muscle to separate every single trade from the last one. Your previous trade, whether it was a huge win that made you feel like a genius or a crushing loss that made you feel worthless, has absolutely no impact on the setup that's forming on the chart right now. You have to learn to wipe the slate clean and execute your plan based only on what you see, completely free of that emotional baggage.
Okay, so you've embraced the mindset shift. You're ready to treat this like a pro. So what do you do right now? What are the immediate practical actions you need to take? The path forward is actually pretty simple, but it is not easy. It demands absolute 100% compliance.
Here it is, your 3-step, non-negotiable framework. Step 1, stop. That's it. Close the platform, walk away, do not place another live trade. You've lost that privilege for now. Step 2, review. Open up your trading journal and do a brutal, honest audit. Where did you break your rules? When did emotion take over? Find the exact moments the 4 horsemen showed up. You have to pinpoint what went wrong. And step 3, rebuild. Go back to a demo account. Your goal here is not to make money, it's to forge discipline. Shrink your position size down to nothing and focus on mastering one single high-probability setup. Just one. Execute it perfectly over and over until consistency isn't something you think about, it's just what you do.
You see, just getting back in the game isn't the real goal here. The goal is to build a system so strong, a defense so unbreakable, that a huge blow-up like this becomes practically impossible. This is where you forge your new rules of engagement.
This number right here, this is your new religion. It is your single most important rule. You will never, ever risk more than 1% of your capital on any single trade. I don't care how perfect the setup looks. I don't care how confident you feel. On a $5,000 account, that's a max loss of $50. This rule alone makes it almost mathematically impossible to blow up your account quickly. It forces you to stay in the game long enough to actually learn.
Look, discipline isn't something you feel. It's something you do every day. This checklist becomes your new morning routine. 1. Is my risk fixed at 1% or less? Check. 2. Do I have a hard daily loss limit? Say 3%, and am I prepared to walk away the second I hit it? Check. 3. Am I going to log every single trade with notes on why I took it and how I felt? Check. And 4. Am I sticking to my one system, or am I getting distracted by that new shiny indicator I saw online? Check. This is what separates the pros from the people who just get lucky for a little while.
Every time you follow that checklist, every time you take a small, planned 1% loss and walk away with your head held high, you are building something priceless, a psychological callus. It's just like lifting weights. At first, it's painful, but over time, you build calluses on your hands. Well, correctly processing small, manageable losses builds mental toughness. You start to see losses for what they really are, just a business expense, not a personal failure. This mental armor is what will protect you from your own worst instincts.
And finally, let's just zoom all the way out and completely reframe this whole devastating experience. I know it felt like a failure, but if you follow these steps, it wasn't a failure at all. It was an education. Probably the most expensive and most important one you will ever get.
This quote says it all. Think of the money you lost not as a loss, but as tuition. You paid a really high price for a lesson that no book or YouTube video could ever truly teach you. The real tragedy isn't blowing the account. It's paying that tuition and then refusing to learn the lesson. If you truly internalize these new rules, you just paid for a lifetime of disciplined, professional trading.
So this all comes together in what we'll call the survivor's mindset. Your number one job is not to make money. Your number one job is to protect your capital. That's it. If you can do that day after day, the profits will eventually take care of themselves. You have to embrace the slow, kind of boring power of consistent compounding. You have to forgive yourself, let go of the guilt from the past loss, and just be patient. This is a marathon, not a sprint.
Now, we really want to hear from you. For anyone out there who has been through this fire and come out on the other side, what was the single biggest lesson that changed everything for you? Drop it in the comments below. Your story could be the exact thing another trader needs to hear right now to make their comeback. Thanks for sharing, and thanks for watching.